introduce a supporter of strategies. Coach Sherry Coale comes to strategies every fall, so you all get the advantage of her visit and her wisdom where the students in the spring do not. We could only arrange that, that would be great. But we're happy for fall only. So, I'm sure you all know about Coach Coale's reputation, but she's going to tell you today about many of the things, the strategies she does in her life that help her be such a high performer and stay on task and achieve her goals. So, Sherry Coale.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and be before you today. Obviously, I spend most of my time at the Lloyd Noble Center, but it's nice to get back on campus and to be in front of some students. And I have a question for you today. I want to know, now you guys are going to have to wake up and interact with me a little bit. I want to know, just from someone, raise your hand, why are you at the University of Oklahoma? And don't say to get a degree. I want something more specific. Why did you decide to go to college at the University of Oklahoma? Anybody? Raise your hand. I'll find you. Yes, sir.
Adrian Peterson.
Really? Okay, and why is that? Did you want to be him when you grew up, or you just thought he was awesome, or what?
I just like OU.
Okay, I love it. You know what? That's not a bad answer. Do you guys know who Michael Price is? You know what the Price College of Business is? Do you know why Michael Price came from New York to the University of Oklahoma? Because he wanted to play football. And he walked on and he wasn't good enough and he got cut and he stayed here and he became a millionaire. It's good odds for you, buddy. Good odds. Who else? Why did you come to the University of Oklahoma? Raise your hand. People on the back, I'm going to pick on you. Yes, sir.
Prestige.
Prestige of this place. Okay, why did you want to be a part of that?
I just like how great the university is and the resource that it is for Oklahoma, and I wanted to help contribute to that as much as I could.
Okay, excellent. One more. Why did you choose to come to the University of Oklahoma? Because you grew up here. You're from Norman. It's convenient. It's all you knew. It was great. How can anything else be better? Okay. All right, good. Now I want you, everybody has paper, right? Everybody has something you can write on? Okay. In just a second, I'm going to say go. And I want you to write everything that you're really good at. Now, before you get going, I haven't said the magic word yet. I want you to think about everything that you're really good at. Like, if you're the only person in your house who can figure out how to work the remote, that's something that you're really good at. Okay, I lose in that department. I can never get the TV right. I yell at my 16-year-old daughter, please come change this. Okay, if maybe you're the person in your group of friends who can always solve the argument and bring the peace. Maybe you're the person who can figure out how to drive a nail perfectly. Maybe you're the guy, it can be anything. All right, ready, go. Everything you're good at. They're writing everything that they're really good at. Ready, go for you. Keep going. Okay, stop. Now, I want you to just move over and like make a separate column on this piece of paper. And I want you to think about everything that you really love. Now, before you go, I'm not going to say go yet. Before I say go, I want you to think about everything that you really love. Okay? It could be chocolate chip cookies. It could be, maybe it's something that you can't even do really well. All right? But everything that you love. Go. We're writing down all the stuff that we love. Okay, stop. Which list was easier for you to write, the first or the second? Second. Okay, we have one more quick little list, all right? The third one is I want you to write down everything that when you do it, it makes you happy. Okay, when you do it, it makes you happy. Go. Come on in. Unless you don't belong here, of course. She's running. Everything that when you do it, it makes you happy. Okay, stop. Now I want you to look at those three lists and see if there's a commonality. Is there something that appears everywhere? And maybe it doesn't appear exactly. Maybe what you love to do. Maybe let's say, let me take an example. What's one thing that makes you happy when you do it?
When I work out.
When you work out. Love it. Okay, great. What's one thing that you're really, really good at that might correspond with working out?
I put talking to people, but that doesn't...
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. That's really good. So she's working out and talking to people. And then what's your other column?
I had working out and love, too.
Okay, so you love that as well. So you might someday want to work at a health club and be a personal trainer. She might be fantastic at that. You can see the commonality. Here's what happens. You graduate from high school, and the world tells you the next thing you're supposed to do is go to college, right? And you go to college, and you walk around, and you go, why am I here? You feel like you can't get up in the morning because you don't really know what you're going to do and why you're supposed to do it. So one of the first things that you have to do, you are here, so you stop your world. You stop your world, and you go, okay, what do I want the rest of my life to be like? And so for many of you, perhaps, your dad was a doctor, and you're at OU, and your major is pre-med, because you're supposed to be a doctor, and you can't get out of bed in the morning, and you hate your classes, and you hate your life, and it's not good. Or you're in business, and you're trying to become an accountant because you think accountants can make a lot of money, and that's a good way to do that, and you hate going to your math classes every single day. You can't get out of bed. You don't want to do it. You don't want to be here. You're not happy. Your success rate is not very high. The first thing you need to do is decide what you want to do. What makes you happy? Because I'll promise you this, what the world needs most is not accountants or doctors or lawyers or basketball coaches. What the world needs most is people who are alive. Okay? And you're going to be alive when you do what you love. And how do you figure out what that is? You find the crossroads. You find the crossroads. What do you really want to do? What makes you happy? What are you good at? Where does that cross? And then, now you have something to be excited about. Okay? I live my dream every single day. I get up and I go to the gym. I go and I'm around basketball pretty much 24/7. I'm around it in a stretched out sort of way when I'm in my office and I'm making practice plans and I'm making recruiting calls and I'm doing promotional things for our program. All of that is sort of externally linked to being in the gym, but everything that I do comes back to that round leather ball that I fell in love with when I was in the 5th grade. And when I graduated from high school and I went to college, I thought, well, what would I do? I was going to go play college basketball. I did for 4 years. What in the world will I do in 4 years when I can't do this anymore? Oh my gosh, I better find a career where I can do this. I'm going to be a high school teacher and I'm going to be a basketball coach. How did I decide what I wanted to teach at the high school level? I loved to read. Writing was fun and easy and exciting for me. Super easy. I'm going to go be an English teacher. So when I got to college, I double majored in physical education and English education so that I could be a ball coach and teach English. And I thought, what in the world, does life get any better than that? And it really didn't till I got this gig. Yeah. good stuff, because every day I got to get up and go through Shakespeare. God, I love Shakespeare. And I know some of you guys are like, you're so weird. It's all right to feel that way. You guys like to do calculus. I think you're weird, all right? So you have to put yourself in that situation where every day you can do what you love. People say to me all the time, I don't know how you keep those hours you keep. I don't know how you do all that stuff you do. Well, it's easy. I love it. It's about what I love. It's my life, all right? It's not a job that I go to. It's my life. It's the way I live. I have a big life outside of it, but it's all wrapped up in this thing that I do that I love. And so getting out of bed in the morning, I can't tell you the last time I had to wait till my alarm rang. I'm excited to go do my job because I love what I do. So that's step number one. If you are here and you are pigeonholed into something that you did not choose in your heart, in your belly, in the middle of your bones, then stop for just a little bit. Find your voice and figure out what is it that you love to do. Because the world needs people who have come alive, and you will only be alive if you follow your passion. Raise your hands and be completely honest. How many of you cannot think of one thing that you really love to do? One guy. Maybe he's the only brave soul. One guy. All right, so the rest of you have an idea. And I promise you, if you'll be still long enough, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out, maybe not the exact career, maybe not the exact major, but you'll say, when I do this thing, I feel good. I get happy. For instance, in my personal life, I love to write. Like if I wasn't a ball coach, I'd be a writer. Coaching ball makes a little bit more money than writing. Well, maybe not if you write really big, but the kind I would do, yeah, I'm making a little better livelihood here. But I love to write. And sometimes I will start writing at 9 o'clock at night, and I will look up, and it's 2 a.m., and I am not tired at all. That's how I know this is something that is my passion. This is something that is my calling. This is something that I'm supposed to do. It just feels right. And you know, you have done that. You have sat around talking about something that you could talk about for 20 hours straight. Maybe it's politics. I don't want to come into that conversation if it is, but maybe it's whatever technology, yikes, that freaks me out. Whatever it is that's your deal that makes you go and you get excited about it and you can do it and lose track of time. That's living in your strength. That's where you need to go, and you need to have the courage to find your voice and follow your voice. Okay? I want everybody in the room to cross your arms. Just fold your arms. This is a standard coaching position. We do this a lot. We do this sometimes when we're irritated at referees. We do it sometimes when we're irritated at our team. We do it sometimes when we're bored. We don't know what to do with our hands. You're standing on the sideline and, 10,000 people are staring at you. You don't know what to do with your arms, so you do this. Okay? Now I want you to uncross them and cross them the other way. Is that a little bit weird and awkward for anyone? It's terribly awkward for me. I can't even do it unless I look at them. I've done it so much this way, I have to really think about how that might work. All right? Have you do that because that awkward feeling that you got right there, it's not really comfortable. It made you think. You're like, ooh, I don't want to put my arms like that. So you unwind them. That's the process of change. All right? That's what change does. And if you want to do or be in a different situation, down a different path, headed toward a different end than the one you're on right now, you are going to have to change. You have to change a bunch of little things. You're going to have to change some big things. Okay? I want to see a show of hands of how many of you are in this class due to matters beyond your control, such as your sister is sick and you had to go take care of her, you missed some class time, you got behind, you couldn't recover, your dad lost his job, your tuition couldn't be paid, you had to get a second job, you lost some class time, you had a bike wreck, you broke your ankle, you had to get surgery. Those are things that are beyond your control. How many of you are in this class because of that? Maybe 5, okay? So the rest of you are here, would you agree? Because you just made some lousy decisions. Would you agree? I don't see anybody going like this, so, okay, I'm going to take that as unanimous, all right? So the first thing we have to do is we have to remember what we want. That is, by the way, the definition of the word discipline. Remembering what you want. It's hard to remember what you want if you don't know what you want, which is where we started about 10 minutes ago. Discipline is the daily process of remembering what you want. All right? And then you make every decision throughout the course of the day based upon remembering what you want. You either say yes or you say no, and those decisions take you closer to or further away from what it is that you want. For instance, as a high school basketball player, I wanted to do some very special things. And so when I said, I want to be a great high school basketball player, this is my dream, this is what I want to do, then I made decisions such as, I won't eat some of the things my friends eat who aren't training to be great athletes. I won't stay out late and go places that they go on the weekends because it's not good for my body. I'm training to be an athlete. I have to get up earlier than other people do because I have to do my studying before school, because after school, after practice, I'm going to stay and make 300 shots. And so there are all kinds of things that you said yes to. I'm going to eat the fruit. No to, I'm not going to have the chili dog. Yes to, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. No to, I'm going to the movies with you guys and won't be home till 2. All kinds of decisions that either take you closer to or further away from what it is that you say you want. When I was in the 9th grade, I decided that I wanted to be an all-state basketball player. Okay? No one from my high school had ever been named an all-stater. You guys know what an all-stater is? All right, how many of you are from Oklahoma? Okay, good. So you know the little blue and orange gold jackets that have the state of Oklahoma. I wanted one of those so bad. I did not want to date somebody who wore one. I wanted my own. All right? Very, very specific about that. And so I decided, before I graduate from high school, I want to be an all-stater in basketball. No one from my school, no female from my school had ever been an all-stater. I also said that I wanted to go to the state tournament. I wanted to play in the state tournament. Because when I was a little kid, my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, we all loaded up and went to Oklahoma City to the big house, state fairgrounds, and we would watch the state basketball tournament. From the time I was a little kid, and I would see all these buses that were shoe painted or painted with shoe polish, and they had streamers on them, and I would see the teams, filing in their gear, and they'd have roses and all that stuff, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. I wanted to play there in front of all those people. And so those are two things that as a high school or as a 9th grader, I said, I want to go to state and I want to be an all-stater. And the third thing that I decided I wanted to do as a freshman in high school was I wanted to get, at the time we called it a full ride, a full scholarship to go play college basketball. I didn't care where I went. I wasn't specific, D1, D2, I didn't even know those things existed at the time. I just wanted to get a full scholarship to go to college and play basketball. And I wrote those 3 things down on a piece of notebook paper, just like you guys are writing on right now, had all the spiral fringes on the end. And I taped it in the back of my locker. And every day, when I would go in and get my books, before I went to class, I would read, go to state, be an all-stater, get a full ride. I would go to class, do what I did, come back, get my algebra book, right there in my locker, I would read, go to state, be an all-stater, get a full ride. Every single class change of every single day. When my freshman year was over, we moved to the different hallway. We went to the sophomore hallway, and in the back of that royal blue locker went that same sheet of spiral notebook paper. Went on the back, cellophane tape, go to state, be an all-stater, get a full ride. Every single class period, every single day. It moved with me as a junior, and it moved with me as a senior. It was yellow, it was ripped up, but it said the same message. Go to state, be an all-stater, get a full ride. In the spring of my senior year of high school, we came out the back of the gym and we got on this school bus, typical yellow school bus that had shoe polish on every window. It had blue and white streamers coming from it, Lady Bulldog goodie bag in every single seat. We rolled around the front of the school. The entire student body is on the front lawn. The band is playing the fight song. We drive by, we go down Main Street. Everybody who owns a business is out on Main Street waving at us. Good luck at the state tournament. We are on our way. We go to the state tournament, and 2 weeks later, I come home. I got up at 5 in the morning on a Sunday morning to go to Mom's Mini Mart. You guys know what Mom's Mini Mart is? If you live in rural Oklahoma, you do. It's a whole lot like 7-Eleven, just kind of scaled down. Poor man 7-Eleven, that's what we'll call it. Mom's Mini Mart to buy a daily Oklahoman. I wanted to get it fresh off the press. I'll never forget, it was chilly. I had on my house shoes, my PJs, and a big coat. And I went and bought the Daily Oklahoma, and I brought it down to my living room, set it down, opened it to the sports page, took a big, deep breath, and looked, and there was my name and my picture on the Small West squad. I was named to All-State. 2 down, 1 to go. Exactly 1 week later, I signed a letter of intent to play basketball at Oklahoma Christian University on a full scholarship. All 3 of those things that I made decisions about happened to me. Not because I'm special. Look at me. I'm 5'4" with my hair. Couldn't particularly jump really high. Okay athlete, gifted, not really a gifted athlete, from a little bitty town in southern Oklahoma. I'm not different than any of you. I simply made a decision. I don't know why. I don't remember anybody ever telling me to do that. I have no idea why I did that, but I did it. And it worked. And I've done it throughout my entire life because I believe discipline is about remembering what you want. If you set a goal and you pay attention to it every day, every single day, the odds of that becoming a reality skyrocket. Here's what happens with my players. You tell me if it happens with you. My players come in, we set goals all the time. This happens all the time, every year. Freshmen come in, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Well, the first thing that happens with all freshmen, the first time they go through this process, is they set really vague goals, you know? Like, what do you want to be? I want to be a better player. Really? Well, don't we all? That's why we're here. What exactly is it that you want to be better at? Well, I want to be a better shooter. Okay, that's better, but what does better shooter mean? How will we know if you're a better shooter? Better than what? Better than you are now, better than the people on your team, better than the people you play against, better than the best in the country. What does that mean? Okay, so define that. Okay, so I want to be a 60% shooter from the three-point line. Boom. Now we're talking, because now we can measure it. Now we can know if that happened. All right? So it has to be tangible. Your goal has to be tangible. Something that you can look at and feel and define. When I said I want to be an all-stater, I would either be one or I wouldn't. I wouldn't be kind of one, you know? Ever heard anybody say they're kind of pregnant? Not possible. Either are or you're not, okay? So it's going to be easy to tell if I did that thing, okay? So I want my players to give me goals that are measurable, all right? Now, once you get that feeling, and they'll go through, okay, I want to be a 60% shooter from the three-point line, and I want to shoot 90% from the free throw line, and I want to average 3 assists to 1 turnover every single game. And by the way, if any of my players get those 3 stats, we are golden for this year. Just lay that out right now. So we get it real specific. It's tangible. We can measure it. We'll know whether we get there or not. Now comes the little bit more complicated part, and this is where my freshmen have a little meltdown. Okay, how are you going to make this happen? Because some of you in here might have a goal that I am going to be a doctor, and that's great. You have to have that goal. What are you shooting for? Okay, I wanted to be an all-stater. It was big. When you're in 9th grade and that's your goal, there's a lot of space in between that. So how am I going to get from there to there? Okay, well, there are certain things as a basketball player I made a decision to do. I was going to stay after practice every single day and make 300 shots before I went home. I had a certain routine that I went through every Saturday morning and every Sunday afternoon. I made 100 free throws during lunch every day throughout my entire high school career. There were things that I did, processes that I followed to make that connected to where I was. You have to be able to connect those dots, or else you get incredibly frustrated. I can't imagine if you're a sophomore at the University of Oklahoma and your goal is to be a doctor, that is so far away. So you have to have short-term goals that you can reach that build you closer and closer to that thing. So here's the next thing that happens with my little freshmen who can't decide what's tangible, and then once they decide what's tangible, then they can't really figure out the process, and so I talk them through that. This is, how many minutes of ball handling a day that you might do that might help you get that 3-to-1 turnover ratio, et cetera, et cetera. There have to be some sort of consequences. What happens when you don't do it? Okay? Sometimes that means having to tell other people about it. It's called accountability. Any of your teachers or parents ever thrown that word around at you? Accountability. Gosh, we don't want to do that. Do you know how many times I wake up on Sunday morning and I say, this week I am not eating any chocolate? That probably happens about 300 times a year, to tell you the truth. I am not eating chocolate this week. All right? You know how many people I tell that to? None. That way, if I decide to eat that chocolate that you guys gave me today, I can just eat it and nobody's going to mess with me. Okay? But if I tell my daughter, who is 16, I'm not eating any chocolate this week, and she sees me with the Butterfinger, here we go. All right? I'm shut up. And she's like, you said you weren't going to eat any chocolate. Well, I changed my mind. Well, you said you weren't going to eat it. Why do I not tell people? Because I don't want the business. Because I want to be able to do what I want to do. Bad decision. If you really want to do something, tell everybody. And don't just tell the people that are your best friends, especially if you have those kind of best friends that always tell you look pretty when you know you don't. Okay? You tell the real best friends, the ones who tell you, you have something on your tooth. Okay? Tell those people, because just like my daughter, if I want to get something done, I tell her because she is on me like a tick. She cannot wait for me to screw up. All right? So you tell those people that will be honest with you. This is what I want to do. So if you say, I want to be a doctor, all right? And you tell your roommate, this is what I want to do, and you have an anatomy test, and you're watching The Voice. That's my new favorite show. You're watching The Voice, okay? Your roommate's going to go, don't you have an anatomy test tomorrow? And you're going to go, shut up, I'm watching The Voice. And your roommate's going to go, you said you wanted to be a doctor. You have an anatomy test tomorrow. Don't you think you should study? Those are the people that have to know about those things so that they can help keep you on course. Because we will not do it, any of us, if it's only our own willpower. We need those people around us, those positive voices that act like those bumpers when you go bowling. You know, they just punch it right back in. Put those bumpers up and punch you right back in so that you stay on the course that you want to go on. Here's where the remembering what you want becomes really important. I can tell you, this has already happened. It is not even the end of October yet. My players' goals were due by the 1st of October. I don't even know what the day is, 28th, 27th, I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's almost Halloween, okay? So not quite a full month. My players turned their goals in October 1. And I, last week, walked up to one of my guards and said, your goal for assist turnovers is what? And she said, I think it's 2 to 1. Okay, first of all, you think? Are you kidding me? All right, you think it's 2 to 1. So what's your process for making sure that you can develop a 2 to 1 assist turnover ratio? I don't remember. What did I write down? Was it ball handling after practice? Well, I don't know. It's not my goal, it's yours. Well, I've got it written down, let me go get it. No, I don't want you to go get it. I want you to tell me what it is. Well, I don't know, it's in my locker, it's in my notebook, let me go get it. No, I don't care about any of that. It is not worth the paper it's been written on if it is not inside your head and inside your heart. How is it a goal if you don't know what it is every day? How is it a process for achieving it if it's not on the forefront of your mind? It's impossible. So, say what you want, make sure it's what you really want, and then put it somewhere where you see it every single day. Several years ago, we had set our team goals together, and we go through the big process. It's like a big process-filled day. When we first began to set team goals 16 years ago, and I appreciate Ms. Portwood not telling my record from the first year that I was here, so it's not very pretty. Our goal the first year I was here was to practice well for 2 hours. That was our goal. Our goal for the year had nothing to do with winning basketball games. I came in, I watched this group practice, I'm like, oh geez, we can never play well until we figure out how to practice. And they couldn't practice well for over 15, 20 minutes. They were fatigued, lose concentration, not in shape, etc. Our goal was to practice well for 2 hours, okay? In 2002, when we went to the Final Four and we played in the national championship game, everything changed. Because from that point forward, the only goal left to set for the team was to win the national championship. We'd done everything else. We'd won our league, we'd won our conference tournament, we'd been to the Sweet 16, we'd been to the Elite 8, et cetera, et cetera. So what's left to do? So that part's quick. We walk in and I say to my guys, what's your goal this year? And unanimously they say, win a national championship. Okay, quick. Now the long, arduous task begins of how do we get there from here? And we have to make decisions. Very much like the decisions that you made 20, 30 minutes ago when we started class. With our basketball team, we say, what are you good at? What do you love to do? Where do those two things go like this? Let's be the best in the world. Let's be the best in the world at the place where those two things go like this. And then you start talking about the process of doing that. What does it entail? Our deal? Defensive transition. It's more basketball than you want to know, but this is just free for about 3 minutes here. Defensive transition is what happens after you score or after you shoot and miss, and you got to transition back from offense to defense. It's a very, very complicated way that happens. You may think the 5 guys just turn around and run to the other end of the floor. But it's way more complicated than that. And hardly no one is good at it. Because people teach it, and then they're done. And they go on and they work on their half-court defense, they work on their half-court offense, and most basketball coaches, quite honestly, work on running a million plays. All right, we do not subscribe to that philosophy. We spend a lot of time working on the process, as you might imagine, of each one of those things. And so with defensive transition, there has to be a guy that stops the ball at half court, because the key to preventing layups is stopping the ball and protecting the basket. We call that a half check. We call the guy who protects the basket a full check. The other wing is taking the strong side pass away. Your post is running like crazy. Post jobs are really easy. Just run your brains out from one basket to the other. Get there as fast as you can, please. And then the trail guy who got the rebound or inbounded the pass follows the play and picks up whoever is left. We decided, you know what? We can be the best in the world at that. Here's why. We have some experienced guys who understand it. We're all mobile. Even our center can run. This is an area of the game that a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to. And yet more basketball games are won and lost because of wide open layups and defensive transition than any other statistic. And so we decided we love feeling smart. I recruit kids who are just pretty bright and hardworking, and they love feeling smart because a lot of times they can't feel fast. All right? They're not physically capable enough of feeling the biggest or the most explosive or the fastest, but they can feel smart. And this gives them a way, they love that, okay, to do what they love. All right? So we find the point where that intersects and we decide this is what we want to do. And then every single day we work on making that a reality. Okay? No different than what